Hello, I have come back with the last section of this tutorial series, which is covering Fresnel. And the first topic that we're going to be covering is what is Fresnel. And then next we're going to talk about how Fresnel is related to specularity in the real world and also the modifications of Fresnel, um, which is basically going to be about using my um, Fresnel equation versus the Schick's equation. Okay, so what is Fresnel? Well, I basically only want to explain Fresnel and how it would be expressed in the game, or the two biggest examples of Fresnel. So basically, the example of Fresnel is can be thought of as a material's reflectivity on its surface, and it usually appears in two types of reflectivity. So the first reflectivity case is on a plane, and the second reflectivity case is on a sphere. I'm going to show you the sphere example first because it will probably make the most sense to start with that. So here is a case of reflectivity on a sphere that is an example of Fresnel. So the Fresnel effect is the reflection along the rim of the sphere, basically along the edges, and it also appears kind of along the edge of this piece of the flat part of the plastic as well. So we have the Fresnel effect going along here, which is reflecting. It's reflecting the environment more so than it's reflecting the sun. Um, the plastic does have its own specular coming from the light source, which is here and here. The specular reflection for each of these half spheres is separate from the Fresnel effect, which is a reflection of the environment along the edges of the sphere. The second case of Fresnel that we'll see would be along a plane. So in this case, we have a hallway and a light source back here. And as you can see, as we go along the length of this plane, we kind of notice that the reflection of the light is a little bit stronger as we look further along this plane. This effect is actually one of the more is probably the more questionable and somewhat subjective um, effects of the two. Technically, it is expressed like this. I couldn't really find a better photo, unfortunately. But this is the Fresnel effect along the effect is actually a phenomenon that it deals with reflectance and transmission. So in the case of a plane or a body of water, what's happening is that we have a high level of reflection as we move further away from um, the viewing direction, and we have more transmittance the closer we are to the viewing direction. This is the reason why if you're looking at a clear body of water, you should be able to see the bottom of the body of water and all the rocks and stones and pebbles in the water. But as you begin to look towards the horizon and towards the edge of this body of water, you won't be able to see the items at the bottom of the body of the water. You'll only be able to see the reflection of the sky. So what we're supposed to see is a gradual shift from transmission to reflection as we go away from the viewer. And that's also what you're seeing when you're looking at this red ball there. This would be, if this was a clear glass ball, you would be able to see what's behind the clear glass ball in the center, but you would start to see more reflection of the environment as we get towards the edges. So that's basically the two examples of Fresnel that you're generally going to see. Let's cover how Fresnel was sometimes modeled in Unity. So now I'm going to explain how Fresnel has been dealt with in Unity previously with certain types of shaders. So here's one example. So this is a shader that's basically trying to model the Fresnel effect, and what we're having in this situation is we're having the light source be reflected um, along the outside of this ball, and we don't have a reflection in the inside of this ball. So that is basically trying to model the Fresnel effect. In this particular model, this shader is only doing the Fresnel effect, and it's because you don't see a highlight for the light source reflection. I know this probably looks a little bit odd but right now, just understand that in Unity, and in most cases, with the previous shaders that have been made for Unity, the Fresnel effect, specular reflection are not they're not considered to be the same thing. But anyway, this shader created the Fresnel effect by using rim lighting. And as you can see, there's a gradual fade from what you can consider to be transmission to reflection at the edges. And in this one, it's a lot greater. But I would say that this is not not an accurate model of the Fresnel effect, as we have the blending coming too far in, and also the center is too dark. I believe what's happening here is that this is supposed to be a rougher surface, so the Fresnel effect is supposed to spread out more. Also, another type of Fresnel that is done in Unity, which involves using a cube map so that it's actually reflecting the environment. So this is a cube map reflection uh, shader, or so this is a rim Fresnel shader, and here's a cube map reflection version. The cube map reflection version um, kind of actually has the Fresnel along the edges, but going in more, and then being really a lot less on this edge here. And this is based off of, I guess, how you would expect a reflection to look on a still ball. And this is the Fresnel cube map shader in Marmoset. It still kind of has the same pattern as this cube map, this other cube map shader that we have, where most reflections at the top, and there's kind of a space of no reflection here where it's all transmission. You can kind of see that there's an increased amount of reflection here and less down here. And this is a Marmoset setup. Here's an example of Fresnel rim lighting and also the specular highlight as well. So this is a situation where Fresnel and the specular highlight are being merged, and they're being done with rim lighting. I don't prefer to use rim lighting. Rim lighting is inaccurate. It doesn't use Slick's approximation, so it's not physically accurate in any way, shape, or form. But it also doesn't fake physical accuracy either. Okay, so now that we've gotten what Fresnel is out of the way and how Fresnel has been done in Unity previously, let's talk about some of the problems with Fresnel in the next video.